Anda pelajar SPM Negeri Kedah, Perak, Pulau Pinang, Perlis. Berita baik untuk anda. Impak SPM kembali lagi dengan wajah baru dengan membawakan program yang lebih bermanfaat, padu, mantap dan berkesan. Santunan Pendidikan Keluarga Malaysia, Impak SPM Wilayah Utara K3P. Program Impak SPM Wilayah Utara K3P tahun 2022 ini dilaksanakan oleh Yayasan Impak, inisiatif membangun pendidikan dan amal kebajikan yang telah diperbadankan di bawah Akta Pemerbadanan 258 Jabatan Perdana Menteri. Yayasan ini telah banyak melaksana program-program santunan pendidikan di samping kebajikan, terutamanya untuk kumpulan B40 sebagai menyumbang usaha untuk kesejahteraan keluarga Malaysia. Yayasan Impak disokong oleh beberapa NGO lain yang berpadu niat dan bergabung sumber untuk menyumbang usaha terhadap kemajuan pendidikan anak-anak bangsa. Program ini merupakan tahun kedua dijalankan selepas mendapat maklum balas yang positif dari pelajar dan guru yang menyertainya pada tahun 2021. Pada tahun ini, Impak SPM kembali membawakan program Impak SPM Wilayah Utara K3P yang memfokuskan 4 negeri dalam wilayah utara meliputi Kedah, Perak, Pulau Pinang dan Perlis. Program ini meliputi 3 fasa. Fasa 1, Fasa 2, Fasa 3. Program ini mengetengahkan kelas secara maya dan bengkel bersemuka untuk tahun 2022. Antara lokasi pilihan untuk bengkel bersemuka: Batang Padang, Perak, Sik, Kedah, dan 2 negeri yang belum ditentukan lokasinya, iaitu Pulau Pinang dan Perlis. Ianya juga dijalankan secara hybrid untuk beberapa kawasan sasaran khas tertentu, iaitu daerah yang lemah capaian internet. Rata-rata maklum balas yang diterima. Hasil positif terhadap prestasi akademik pelajar. Keputusan percubaan SPM 2021, pelajar yang cemerlang. Menyaksikan pelajar-pelajar mendapat manfaat daripada program terdahulu. Maklum balas melalui hantaran media sosial memperakukan keberkesanan PDP yang dilaksanakan. Penyertaan Impak SPM Wilayah Utara K3P kini dibuka untuk tahun 2022. Pendaftaran khusus buat pelajar SPM Wilayah Utara dan negeri-negeri lain juga turut dibuka pendaftaran khas untuk menyertai. Ayuh, daftar segera sekarang.
move to. Okay. Assalamualaikum and very good evening to everyone. Okay. Can you all hear me? Is it clear? If you all can hear me, then you may type one at the comment box. Okay. So let's respond. Students, I hope you all are with me. Okay, today's session is about speaking, which is your paper 3 in SPM. Okay, paper 3 in SPM, speaking. So Teacher Sahara and Teacher Aiman will be covering for tonight. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so hi, okay, yes, so all of you are here. Thank you for responding. Okay, now let's look at the format and content. So we have 3 parts, and you will be answering speaking paper for about 13 minutes, okay, and the weightage is 25%. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so as you all know, this is a quick review of the paper. So part 1, which is interview, and you'll be like answering approximately about 3 to 4 minutes. Part 2, about 3 to 4 minutes again, but it is called individual long run. Okay, so it is called individual long run. And part 3 is discussion, where you'll be like spending 4 to 5 minutes there. Okay, now, okay, this is how you will be sitting during your exam. I mean, your speaking test. Okay, so this is your sitting arrangement where you have interlocutor. Okay, interlocutor is someone or a teacher from your school. Okay, interlocutor adalah guru daripada sekolah anda. Okay, mana-mana guru BI daripada sekolah anda, but the assessor is from other school. Okay, daripada sekolah yang lain yang berdekatan. Okay, so the assessor will not talk anything. Okay, she will just sit there and assess, and she will be rewarding 18 marks to you, and the interlocutor, who is your teacher, will be rewarding 6 marks. Okay, so as we have discussed earlier in the previous session, okay, I have told you that the assessor will be giving you 18 marks, okay, which is for grammar, vocabulary, communicative competence, and the interlocutor will be rewarding you 6 marks for your overall spoken performance. Okay, so I hope it's clear, and you will be entering the room with your pair. So it means you akan masuk dalam bilik peperiksaan dua orang lah, okay, dengan pasangan anda, okay. And then next, okay, so this one we have discussed in detail in previous session, but I just want to recap where you have, as I mentioned earlier, okay, the descriptors for scoring. I mean, you have to score in grammar, vocabulary, and communicative competence. As I mentioned earlier, the assessor will be giving you grammar. If let's say you achieve the full marks, you'll be getting 6, okay, vocabulary 6, and communicative competence 6. But however, here I have just showed for the score of 5. So if 6, it must be more than that. If lesser, then it should be, okay, there are descriptors and the criteria of how you can achieve, and this one we have discussed in detail in previous session. However, I'm just going to highlight few things here. As I told earlier, okay, for grammar, let's say your score 5 is a good degree of accuracy. Okay, if you can see that all it is written as good, okay, and then can show a good degree of control of a range of simple and some complex grammatical structures, and use a range of cohesive devices. This is the descriptors for band 5, I mean score 5, okay. Vocabulary, You use a wide range of appropriate vocabulary to give and exchange views on a wide range of familiar topic, okay? And then can convey relevant meaning with good vocabulary choice, okay? For communicative competence means how well you can deliver your points, how well you can speak, okay, can express, okay, him or herself with little hesitation. Score 5, little hesitation. Okay, can initiate, maintain, develop, and close a conversation with ease. Okay, and can relate contributions to his or her partner and negotiate towards an outcome. So ada 3 benda seperti yang kita dah bincang hari itu, iaitu markah akan diberikan untuk grammar, vocabulary and communicative competence. Untuk grammar, kamu akan dapat markah sebanyak 6, vocabulary 6 dan communicative competence 6, which is total 18 given by the assessor. Okay, so I hope it's clear. Okay, those who are with us, you can type in the comment box saying that it's clear if you feel that, okay, yes, I understand. Okay, so you can respond to us by typing yes, understood, or it's clear, or whatever. Okay, so please respond to us while listening to our presentation today. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so I'm going to touch about part 1. Okay, if you're with me, I just want to know, is there any marks awarded for part 1? Ada tak markah diberikan untuk part 1? Thank you. Thank you for those who are responding to me. Thank you so much. Okay, so for part 1, markah diberikan ke tidak? Is the marks given for part 1? Ada markah tak untuk part 1? Part 1, ada markah tak? Okay. Part 1 ni tiada markah diberikan. No marks awarded. But, okay, ada, no. Tak ada. Hanana, no. No. Tiada markah diberikan, no. Okay. No marks awarded in part 1. Okay, why they are doing this? You might ask me, teacher, there's no marks awarded, but why we are still doing part 1? It's just like, just to make you feel ease with the situation. Nak bagi you calm with the situation. I mean, with the, kan you duduk untuk peperiksaan, so they do not want you to feel stressed, okay, before you answer the real question. So that's why they start with this part 1. Okay. Yes, warming up. Yes, Adibah. Thank you, Adibah. So this is a warming up session where there's no marks awarded. Okay. So they are just going to ask about yourself. Okay. So about your name and all those things. Okay. Let's move on. And this is the phase 2 where they will be asking about your daily routine. Okay. So just try to know or how to answer these daily routine questions. Okay. Now let's move on to the part 2. Okay, start from part 2. You will be given or awarded marks, okay, for your speaking paper. Yes, it's an ice-breaking session. Part 1 is ice-breaking session, but part 2, no longer ice-breaking session. This is the first part. Okay, how? What is this part called as? It is called as individual long run. Okay, remember, part 2, markah telah mula diberikan and it is called as individual long run. Okay, how do you have to answer? How many minutes you have to answer? I have informed you earlier, okay, where you will be like talking just about for 1 minute. Okay, so I'm not going to, okay, look at this. Okay, so how does it looks like, or how is this part 2 carried out? Okay, so remember I told you you will be entering the exam hall with your partner, right? So you'll be entering in 2, right? So first, let's say you are starting, who you are the candidate A or the first candidate, okay? So they will be asking you question, okay? And you will be given 20 seconds to think. Only 20 seconds. Remember, you are not allowed to bring any pencil or pen or paper to the speaking test, right? So you will be given just 20 seconds to think and you have to talk about the topic given. But you will be also given prompts. If you see, this is how it looks like, your question, okay? So if you see part 2, for the first candidate, it is about house cleaning, okay? So for house cleaning, okay, you have a question like talk about a house cleaning that you had recently, and you have prompts. If you see, what are the prompts given? When and where the cleaning was done, what you and your family did, okay? And then if you all enjoyed yourselves, why, you have to say, and why house cleaning is important. Yes, Danish, only 20 seconds to think. How are you going to answer? And then you will be given 1 minute to uh 1 minute to present your answers, or say whatever you want to say about this question. Do you understand what am I saying? What am I trying to convey to you today? Faham tak? It means that you will be given 20 saat untuk berfikir.
All right, hi everyone. I think there's something wrong with the connection on Madam Sahara's part. Okay, because it's raining here in Sungai Petani. Is it raining in your area? Is it raining in your area, everyone? Hi, Fauzan Razman. Yes, welcome back, Sarah.
I don't know what happened. My
Internet
line.
connection problem. I'm having a problem as well here.
Yes, I cannot connect because the internet. I don't know. I think I have problem with the internet because it's raining
Okay.
heavily over here.
Do you think you are able to share? Okay, I don't know what happened with my screen.
Okay, can you see my slides now? Can you see my
Yes,
slides
we can
now?
see your slide. Speaking paper 3.
But no, this is okay. Hold on. Give me some time. Students, I'm very sorry. Technical problem always appears in our life nowadays.
Yes, it's raining. It's raining very
Yes.
heavily here in Sungai Petani.
Okay, wait. Hold on. Give me
Anyway,
some
just
time.
now, okay, what you try to figure out your slide while I continue. Is that okay?
Okay, can you see my slides now?
Okay.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Thank God I
Yes.
can share my slides. Okay, so now okay, yes, I stopped here, so I'm going to continue from here. Okay, students, I hope it's clear. I'm very sorry. Okay, I went missing for a while. Okay, so now look at this question again. Okay, so you have this question which is individual long rhyme. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so it is okay. Let's say you have to talk about house cleaning. So the main thing is you have to talk about a house cleaning that you had recently. Okay, and then you have all these prompts. Okay, look at that. Had means it's what? It should be in what tense? It should be in past tense. So when you speak, you have to say which is had happened. Okay, dah habis, dah buat. Okay, so how you did? Okay, where, when, what you did with your family. If you all enjoyed yourself, you enjoyed that cleaning the house. So why and why not? And why house cleaning is important. Okay, so you have to say about that. Okay, remember, you have 1 minute to talk, and don't waste that time. Don't pause a lot, because 1 minute ends very fast. You will be like, huh, finish? Okay. Because the interlocutor will be telling you, okay, that's it, thank you. And she will be moving to the candidate, the second candidate, which is your friend. Okay. So talk, look at the prompts and try to answer as much as you could, okay, in that 1 minute. I think it's clear and I hope it will be very clear. Can you hear me? Can you all hear me, students? Okay. So now let's move on to the next slide. Okay, So for this question, okay, you have to focus, okay, on your ability to give information of a non-personal kind. Talk about past, present, future experiences. Explain and give reasons. Okay, that's why I say you have to able to explain and give reasons. Okay, express and justify opinions. Okay, you have to able to justify opinions, express your opinions. Okay, describe. Okay, let's say you have to describe about something, you have to say about something, then you describe about people, places and situations. And sometimes you may need to name personal characteristics, objects, and activities, okay? Paraphrase words and ideas, okay? Try to use wide range of vocabulary and try to explain in detail whatever you could in that 1 minute. I hope it's clear, okay? Remember, your marks, which is 24 marks for this, is given for both sessions, which are individual long run and also the discussion. So you have to really perform well for both sessions. Okay, let's move on. Okay, this is again how you could prepare for your individual long run. Okay, so you must be able to talk about the topic independently for about a minute. Okay, so remember you have to talk for about a minute. And one thing, don't ask any question to the interlocutor or the assessor. They are not going to say anything. They are not going to explain to you anything. Okay. You must listen attentively to your partner's topic. Okay. Because after your partner present or you, okay, let's say you are presenting. After you present 1 minute, the interlocutor will be asking you, your partner, a question about what you have said. So she or he has to answer. Same goes to you, okay? So you must be able to answer questions about your partner's topic. You faham tak apa yang saya cuba cakap? Lepas you cakap untuk 1 minit tu, okay, you dah dah cakap untuk 1 minit kan? Lepas you cakap untuk 1 minit, dia akan tanya pula dekat kawan you something about what your friend has said. Okay? So, your friend must be able to answer lah. Dia takkan dia nak duduk diam kan? So, he must be listening to what you are saying. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? So, now, I hope, yes, thank you. Okay. So, look at this. Tip 1. Okay? So, how you can prepare? What are the tips? Be prepared to tell story or personal anecdotes. Kalau you tengok kan, selalunya adalah pasal diri kita lah. Okay, for example, house cleaning. Or be prepared to describe about people, places, events, incidents. Okay, I would like to tell last year punya question, they have asked about neighbor, about sports. Okay, so these are the things they have asked, and you must know the questions are very simple. The questions were very simple. This year, I'm not sure. Okay, so if you ask me, you should be able to speak, okay, for that 1 minute. And then next, master the tenses. Okay, you should know how to use what tense to use. Okay, make it interesting. Use adjectives. Use sequencing words. Don't forget your sequencing words, okay? And also try to use all the prompts given, okay? Use all the prompts given. Jangan lupa menggunakan prompts. Kadang-kadang kan, ada student yang tak perasan langsung pasal prompts yang diberikan. Prompts tu yang tadi yang teacher tunjuk tu lah yang prompts. Inilah prompts kan. Yang dot yang kat bawah tu. That is the prompts. So some students, they don't really realize, the existence of the prompts. Dia macam, dia tak tahu, dia blank, dia tak tahu nak cakap apa. They will be like looking at us. No, okay, you can actually answer based on the questions, the dots given to you, the prompts given to you. Okay, so now, how to start, how you want to make something interesting, how you want to speak like in a way that it is interesting, in a way that it attracts the assessor's attention. Okay, kadang-kadang ada pula pelajar kan, dia tak tahu macam mana nak mula. So you may list down, you may just say, okay, house cleaning, blah 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 blah. Okay, list. Okay, you can also ask question. Okay, and then you can also say some fact or tell about flashback, like last month I have gone for a house cleaning, contoh. So it's up to you and based on the question need. How are you going to start? Jangan blur, jangan jadi blur kat situ. Jangan macam, aku nak mula macam mana? I don't know lah. Don't do that. You have to really, that 1 minute will move very fast. Okay, remember, 1 minute or the 20 second move very fast. So you have to be able to start and complete that given time. Okay, now let's move on. Okay, look at this. How to explain your opinions or points. Macam mana you nak bagi, you nak explain your points. Macam mana you nak cakap you punya point. Sometimes kan, other students, they just tell the answers. Dia bagi tahu je. Okay, when and where. They will say, we did house cleaning last week in Taman Cempaka. That's all. They don't explain in further. So when they have answered all the prompts, the question, what happened? Not even a minute, they finish. After they finish, they look at the assessor and the interlocutor's face. Okay, and also they will be like looking at their friend's face, right? So you have to explain. You have to give points. You have to elaborate and tell more about whatever you are trying to convey, whatever you are trying to say about the topic given. So macam mana you boleh expand you punya points, macam mana you boleh terangkan you punya points. Benda ni, this thing will be helpful for part 3 also, for your discussion. Okay, take note of this. How are you going to expand your point? How are you going to say about something? You can give reasons. Okay, mengapa you cakap macam tu kan? Own experience. You explain with own experience. Okay, you can give the advantages. You can give the disadvantages. The facts which you feel that you know about something. And you also can explain with examples. Okay, so these are the ways how you can explain your opinions or points. Okay, is it clear so far? Okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, so now move on to the next one. Okay. Okay, look at this. Now we are moving to part 3 discussion. Okay, tadi for part 2, lepas you cakap habis, kawan you pula akan cakap bahagian dia. Okay, and then after both of you finish, then we will be moving into part 3, which is called discussion. Mengapa dia discussion? Later on we will tell you. And teacher Aiman will be explaining to you one good way of you how you can really do well in discussion. So hari ni pasang telinga betul-betul dengar. Do you have your pen and your notebook with you? Make sure you have to take note of whatever teacher Aiman is going to share. She is going to give very good tips for you to really perform well in your discussion part. Okay, so now look at this. Part 3 discussion ni apa teacher, you might be asking. Takkan kita nak discuss macam tu je kan? No, it is like you have a certain question, okay? Maybe you will be given graphic organizer or pictures. Later I will show you how does it look like, okay? And for each of these you will have either one, sama ada grafik ataupun gambar lah. Okay, tahun lepas grafik almost everything. Tapi mana tahu kan, sebab dalam textbook you ada pictures. So they might ask you to discuss with the pictures also. Okay. And you will have 3 questions for each candidate. Okay. So now macam mana 3 questions tu datang? Okay. Mari kita tengok ni Okay, I don't want to talk about this. Okay. Inilah dipanggil graphic organizer. Okay, kalau you tengok kat tengah-tengah tu, okay, in the middle, if you see, the question is actually asking you to talk about why do people shop online. It is asking you to talk about why people shop online. Okay, dekat depan soalan ni, you dengan kawan you sedang duduk kan, and this is the question in front of both of you. Okay, so you already got this question. So how are you going to talk about this? You have to do what? Okay, before that, I'm going to show you. Okay, another example of graphic organizer. Okay, this one I took from your textbook, and this is also from your textbook. So this is the picture-based discussion question. Okay, and okay, wait. So, okay, wait. I'm going back to this. So, this one actually, Teacher Aiman will be telling you in detail. But before that, I would like to explain a bit. So, how are you going to do this? So, bila you dapat soalan ini, you divide the task. Cepatlah kadar yang cepat. You tahu tak? To think the answers for this also 20 seconds. Hanya 20 saat untuk kamu berfikir. Macam mana lah saya nak terang. So, fast. Very fast. Okay. Think with your partner. Decide with your partner. 3 bubble yang dia nak ambil. 3 bubble lagi. Siapa lagi nak ambil. So, I would suggest always. Contoh, no crowds. Time saving, better prices. Maybe seorang ambil. Ataupun no crowd seorang. Time saving, B. Better price A. Macam tu. You pergi satu-satu. Nanti Teacher Aiman akan terang macam mana you nak buat benda ni. Okay. And now, look at this. So, talk about each option or every idea, all the options. Maksudnya tadi ada 6 bubble, right? Why you need to shop online. So, all that, try to speak. Let's say you can't speak all the points. Make sure you at least 2 of it, okay? I mean, candidate A2, candidate B2. At least 2 tu you memang terang dengan betul-betul. You really explain in detail. Because the total time given for this discussion is 2 minutes. So, kawan ni 1 minit. Anggaran, this friend 1 minute, another friend is another minute. Tahu? So, you have to really work together with your friend to speak for 2 minutes. How are you going to divide your task? How are you going to give and take with your friend? All those things you have to practice. Okay, now second tips is decide which idea you would choose and give the reasons. Remember bukan macam ni saja tau, sebab ada pelajar, you know, some students they sit in front of us and say people must shop online because it is time saving. Lepas tu kawan lagi satu dia kata apa tau? People must shop online because it is better price. No, you have to give reasons. You have to say why you say it's time saving. Why you say it is like better price. You get better price when you shop online. Why you say convenient. When you want to say why tu nak terang sikit pasal point tu, you gunakanlah apa-apa method ataupun kaedah yang I bagi tahu tadi tu. Okay, all the ways how you can explain something. Give reasons, own experience, advantage, disadvantage. Just explain. People want to see whether you can speak or not. Okay, and how well you can deliver your points. Okay, so now let's move on. Okay, next. Okay, if you realize or not, I'm not sure, because in your download textbook, please take note of this. In your download textbook, page 187, there is something called speaking bank. All the phrases, how you want to ask, how you want to talk, how you want to give, blah, blah, blah. Everything is in there. Okay, so start from today. try to understand, and if you feel like you really can't speak, try to memorize some phrases from this. And also, most importantly, what is Madam Aiman is going to share. Daripada hari ini, mulalah practice what is all about this, and also what is Madam Aiman is going to share. Okay, and that's all from me. I hope you have a clear picture of how speaking paper 3 is going to carry out, and I hope you really do the best. Okay, so let's pass the session to Madam Aiman.
Okay, hi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Madam Sahara, for your very crystal clear explanation on part 1 and part 2. So I really hope that you try and practice as much as you can with your friend so that you can familiarize yourself with the different kinds of topic that we might ask you in your SPM. These topics are all actually topics related to yourself. Okay, so you must try and practice starting from now so that you will be more confident in your speaking test later. Okay, so now I'm going to continue. Okay, I'm going to continue with my slot on how to answer part 3. Okay, I'm going to focus on part 3. But before that, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Nur Aiman Ahmad Tajuddin, and I am currently teaching in SMK Khair Johari, Sungai Petani, Kedah. How many of you from SMK? Sorry, how many of you are from Sungai Petani? Please start in the chat box. Okay. Right. Ooh, how do I move this?
We have students from Baling to Aiman.
We have student from Baling. Okay. So now, how do I move this? It's not moving. Why? Why is it not moving? Sebentar ya. Okay, I don't know why it's not moving. End slide ke? Do I end the slideshow? Is it? Oh. Okay. I have to press here. Right. Okay. Sorry. I am actually using my husband's laptop. Today earlier, I have a program in Kismet, another bengkel, and I left my adapter there. So I am kind of ruined. Okay, here we are at chapter number 3. Okay, can you all see the slide? Please start there from Sabah. Wow, we have student from Sabah. Hi, Hanana. How are you? Okay, so boys and girls, now I'm going to discuss with you and share with you how to answer part 3, which is the discussion part, effectively. Okay, again, a little bit of recap. Just now, Madam Sarah have already explained to you. In part 3, in the discussion task, basically there are 3 things that you need to do. Number 1, you need to carry out a discussion for about 2 minutes, okay, using the mind map with the central focus questions, and then you will have all the prompts, ideas to help you. After that, you will be given another minute, okay, to decide, make a decision, come to an agreement, you and your partner. And then you will be given another minute to respond to answer a final joint question. We call it the further discussion task. Normally, some students have problems answering this part of the test, this part of the question, because the task is slightly more difficult, okay, because they normally ask kepada questions. Now, but even though you might have some problem, for every part of the test, for every part of the speaking test, actually there are ways on how you can equip yourself, how you want to prepare in order for you to be ready. Macam equip yourself dengan pelbagai strategy, with a different kind of strategy in order for you to effectively answer the question. Now, let's have a little bit of discussion, okay? Please write in the in the chat box if, let's say, you have these problems. I'm using different screen here. How many of you, okay, how many of you here have this problem? You have ideas, but you just don't know how to say it in English. Anyone? Teacher, ada idea lah teacher, tapi macam mana nak cakap? Okay, you have ideas. I know all of you are very creative, but then you just couldn't find the way to say it. Atau macam mana nak construct your ideas. Okay, yes, Fauzan, I have that problem. How many of you, when you want to carry out discussion with your partner, no one wants to begin first. Tak ada siapa nak mula dulu. So when your teacher say, alright, you may start, you and your partner will look at each other, okay, and then you main your siku. Nah, okay, you main your siku. Mula dulu lah, mula dulu lah. Allah. Okay, how many of you feel that when you carry out discussion, you feel that the opportunities to speak are not equal? Someone dominate. Okay, kawan you dominate the discussion. Kawan you aja yang cakap. You feel like, aku pun nak cakap juga. You don't have the opportunity. Tak ada peluang nak cakap. Kawan yang control the discussion. How many of you feel like you want to talk, but then again, you are afraid to interrupt. You takut nak mencelah. Because you know, you're doing the test with your friend, and I'm sure that you are worried if you interrupt, you might disrupt your friend's train of thoughts. You bimbang, you mengganggu idea kawan you. Kawan you tengah ada idea, tiba-tiba you menyampuk, you takut nanti ganggu dia. Okay. How many of you ada idea, but then I'm afraid to interrupt? Now, how many of you here feels like, you know, whenever you carry out a discussion, both of you ended up talking about the same point repeatedly. Point ini aja you discuss. Okay. So, boys and girls, I'm sure that based on the chat, okay, based on the response in the chat box, I am sure that you are facing the same problems as well, because these are the problems that my students are facing. So, how do we deal with this issue? Macam mana kita nak prepare you so that you know bagaimana cara-cara menangani masalah ni yang you selalu hadapi in your speaking test. Okay? Right, tip number 1, you need to be very familiar with the topics for part 3. Now, if you notice that most of the topics that you've learned, starting from you, I think in your form 1 up to when you were in form 5, you will notice that you keep on talking about the same theme. Okay, for example, kita tengok sebagai contoh, I think in form 4, okay, in form 4 you learn this topic, chapter number 5, unit 5, okay, globe trotting. Alright, and then in download textbook you will learn the same topic as well, talking about holiday, traveling, getting away, unit number 9. Okay, in your full plus textbook, I think you have this topic, chapter number 2, buy it, if I'm not mistaken. And then when you're in form 5, in your download textbook, you have this topic on shopping therapy. Isn't it? Betul tak? So you can see here, there's actually a pattern. A pattern in what sense? The pattern in the kind of topics that you learn, the theme. Okay, so you must make sure that you are familiar. Kalau ini adalah, these are the topics that keep on recurring in your textbook. You must make sure that you are very familiar with the topic. Okay, what are the words that you use? What are the vocabs that we use when we want to have discussion on shopping? Okay, what are the vocabs that we need to have when we are talking about social media, online gaming, or the internet? Okay, moving on. Oops, sorry. Okay, moving on. Tip number 2, okay, here the azan dekat my place. Okay. Alright. Please type in the chat box what are the problems that you have so that we can probably address the problem together. Next, what you need to do is you need to be prepared with useful phrases. Okay, useful phrases. Because just now you said that you do not know what to say. tidak tahu bagaimana cara untuk cakap. Okay, probably can I stop for a little while because I'm fine here. Okay, type in the chat box so that I can respond. All right, let's continue. Thank you everyone for staying with me up till now. Okay, I've been reading your response. You have problems, some of you stutter when talking. You have ideas but don't know how to say it in English. Your partner, okay, doesn't know how to talk in English, okay. Having problem how to start a discussion. Okay, now we are going to address all of your issues later, so please pay attention. Okay, I think one of the reason why some of you feel like you just don't know how to start, you don't know how to construct your ideas, is because you feel like the task is too much. Tugasan itu terlalu sukar, because you only have 20 seconds to prepare. 20 seconds is not enough, isn't it? 20 saat itu tidak cukup. Okay, so what can we do to make sure that the overwhelming the bebanan tugas tu reduce greatly is by making sure that you are prepared with useful phrases, okay, on how to start a discussion, how to say what to say when you want to give opinions, how to say when you want to give reasons, how to ask for your partner's opinion, how to agree, disagree, or probably partially agree with your partner. Okay, now please type in the chat box, am I talking too fast? Because sometimes I have the tendency of talking a bit too fast. Now, number one, okay, here I think, Kenley, you said, teacher, I have problem to start a discussion. Kenley, some students have problem to start a discussion because they just don't know what to say. Okay, what do you need to say when you want to start a discussion? So when you want to start a discussion, you can say to your partner, Kenley, which one should we start with? Or What do you think, Kenley? Kenley, do you mind if I start first? Kenley, can I go first? Hi, Kenley. Shall we start now? Okay, so these are some of the useful phrases that you can use when you want to start a discussion. Moving on, when you want to give opinion, okay, there are many phrases or ways or expressions for you to use when you want to give opinions. These are just some of the examples taken from the speaking bank that Madam Sarah shared with you just now. You can say, I think that, I don't think that, or you can also say, I feel that, I don't feel that, I would say that, I believe that, I don't believe that. Well, for me, personally, I think. So what you can do here, if you feel like, teacher, I feel like, all these phrases are boring. I want to find my own way of saying, of sharing and expressing my opinions. So what you can do here is, you can discuss with your teacher. Teacher, kalau I nak kata macam ni, how do I say it in English? Okay, try to construct. At least you need to get sekurang-kurangnya 4 different ways of saying something to give opinions, so that you can practice with those 4 phrases. Later, you just rotate lah. Kejap you use these phrases and then that phrases. So at least make sure that you have 4 useful phrases, okay? Next, to justify reason, okay? To justify reason, you can say, I say this because, you can say, I think this is the case because, my reason for saying this is that I choose this because, okay? So when you want to give reason. Next, when you want to ask for your partner's opinion, he said, what do you think? Don't you agree? Do you have anything to say about that? Do you have anything to add to that? Did I forget anything? Okay, so these are some of the ways. Moving on, sorry. Okay, to agree. Because sometimes in a discussion, we agree with our partner, we disagree with our partner, probably we partially agree. So what can we say to show the different kinds, the different degree of agreement? So when you agree with your partner, you can say, I completely agree with you. Well, I think you are right about that. I feel right about the same. Or you can say, that's my opinion too. Okay, next. To disagree. Okay, I disagree that. I think you might be wrong about that because, well, I wouldn't say that because I don't think that's the case. Because if you want to partially agree, you can say, you have a point there, but, well, I see what you mean, but, okay. So having all of these useful phrases ready for you to practice, you will feel like, okay, I will always have something to say. Okay, I will always know how to start first, right? So that already reduce a lot of your worries, particularly in the test. Now, tip number 3, delegate the task equally. Okay, just now we say that one of the problem is the opportunities to speak during the discussion is not equal. Okay, the opportunities are not equal. So what can we do to ensure that both speakers have equal opportunities to contribute in the discussion and for them to gain merit? Number 1 is by delegating the task equally. So this is what I normally do with my students. Okay, so supposedly by now you should know who you will be paired with in your SPM. Okay, so I think you can start and ask your teacher, who am I going to be paired with for SPM? And then have sort of a discussion with your partner. Siapa akan jadi speaker 1 and siapa akan jadi speaker 2? So how do you decide who will be speaker 1 and who will be speaker 2? Now you know yourself and you know your friends better. You know yourself more than anybody else. So you should decide with your partner, siapa di antara both of you who's more fluent, yang lebih fluent in English. Okay, the fluent one will be speaker number 1. Yang lebih cekap berbahasa Inggeris akan jadi speaker number 1. Yang kurang akan jadi speaker number 2. Okay, why? Because we want to make sure that speaker number 1, okay, the fluent one, will start the discussion. And this is the trick that I use with my students. Okay, if you can see here, we have this mind map. Okay, I normally ask my students to follow clockwise. Okay, so speaker 1 will start with no crowds. No crowds will be 12 o'clock, point number 1, followed by time saving, point number 2, followed by better prices, point number 3, followed by convenient, point number 4, wide variety, point number 5, follow the trend, point number 6. Okay, so ikut arah jam. Bila membuat perbincangan, when you want to carry out a discussion, ikut arah jam and delegate the task equally. Why? Because 20 seconds is not enough for you to prepare. By having this rule, menggunakan cara ini, you will be able to see the moment you look at the mind map, you know, okay, speaker 1, you will take point 1, point 3, point 5. Speaker 2, point 2, point 4, point 6. So you will not waste time. You tak buang masa you. You won't waste that precious 20 seconds for you to discuss with your partner. You nak point mana? Aku nak point ni. Aku nak point ni. No. You don't have the time. Okay? I'm going to share with you what can you do even though, teacher, nanti macam mana kalau, I don't know the point yang I dapat. For example, speaker number 2, teacher, if I follow your strategy, what if I get convenient? Convenient? What is this, teacher? I tak tahu. Okay? What can I do? I'm going to show you how, even though if you do not know how to elaborate that point, you can still carry out the discussion. Okay, so don't worry. Now, okay, what can you do when you want to carry out and maintain a discussion? I have this strategy that I developed in order to help my students to carry out and maintain discussion. I call it Sora technique. Okay, please bear in mind Sora 1.0 and Sora 2.0. Now we're going to look at Sora 1.0. So Sora 1.0 is used when you want to carry out a discussion. Nak buat perbincangan pertama kali itu, you use Sora 1.0. So what is Sora? Okay, Sora 1.1 for speaker 1. Speaker 1, you will start discussion. S, give your opinion. O, give your reason. R, and ask your partner's opinion. A. Sora 1.2 is for speaker number 2. Okay, you will say again and agree with your partner's point of view. S, and then you will introduce your new point and opinion. O, and then you will give reason to justify opinion. R, and then you will ask for your partner's opinion. A. Is that clear, everyone, so far? Please type in the chat box. Am I making myself clear or am I being too fast? Okay. Now, here are some of the ways to say for every single task. Okay, when you want to start discussion, you can say, shall I start? Which one shall I start with? Okay, what do you think, Siti? Give your opinion. What I think is that, in my opinion, I might be wrong, but I'm no expert. But, okay, then give reason and then ask for your partner's opinion. What do you think, Raj? Don't you agree? Okay, next. Speaker number 2, say again. Remember, you have to say again your partner's point of view. I completely agree with you. As you said, boys and girls, remember this part where you have to say again your partner's point of view is a very important element in your discussion. Kenapa? Don't feel like when you want to say again your partner's opinion tu, you macam sebut tu je, Allah nak kena ulang-ulang. No. Because in a discussion, we want to see that you are actually paying attention to your partner. You nak tunjuk kepada pemeriksa yang you want to demonstrate to the assessor that you are listening actively to the discussion and you are able to contribute to your partner's perspective and you are able to comment, respond to your partner's perspective. Jadi kita nak tunjukkan kepada pemeriksa yang kamu ni boleh mendengar kepada partner kamu, dan juga kamu juga boleh respon kepada idea yang partner kamu baru sebut. Okay, jadi kids, if let's say, okay, katakanlah you main pilih aja. Speaker 1 ambil ini. Okay, so, it's not moving. Okay, speaker 1 ambil no crowd. Sekejap speaker 2 ambil ini. Sekejap speaker 1 ambil ini. Jadi kalau you tak ikut peraturan macam teacher kata ikut arah jam. Okay, ikut arah jam. Kalau kata you nak sebut, yes, I completely agree with you. As you said, there are no crowds. Tapi sebenarnya kalau you cakap wide variety, kamu telah awkward di situ. Jadi sebab itu, mesti ikut arah jam. No crowds, time saving, better prices, convenient, wide variety, follow the trend. Ikut arah jam. Supaya when speaker number 2, you want to comment on speaker number 1, you want to say again and agree with your partner. Speaker number 2, step you bila you nak mula suara is say again. Ulang semula what your partners have said. No crowds ni. Bila kamu ikut peraturan ni, you can just pretend. You boleh berlakon like you are actually paying attention. Okay, tapi dalam kepala you tengah fikir macam mana aku nak cakap point aku nanti. Okay, remember, you only have 20 seconds. Do you think 20 seconds is enough? It's not enough, isn't it? Kan, you need more time. So, macam inilah kita, this is how we steal time. Kita mencuri masa during the discussion, tapi tidaklah kita menunjukkan kita tak mendengar kawan cakap apa. We look like we are listening to our friends, but actually, in our mind, we are actively thinking about what we are going to say next. Okay, so when you are, when you know your friend ikut peraturan ini, so you can say, yes, I completely agree with you. As you said, some people like to shop online because there are no crowds. Sebab itu penting ikut rule clockwise itu. So you boleh curi masa pada setiap bahagian. Okay, where were we just now? Alright, so this is sample soalan yang cikgu akan tanya pada you. Online shopping is gaining popularity in our country. And here are some reasons why people shop online and a question for you to discuss. First, you have some time to look at the task. Mana dia? Okay, so why do people shop online? Number 1, no crowds, time saving, better prices, convenient, wide variety. Okay, so kita tengok here, remember? Now, I want to show you the sample discussion. If you follow Sora, okay, if you follow Sora strategy. So speaker number 1, shall I start first? Speaker number 2 will respond, yeah, sure. So speaker number 1, I feel people like to shop online because there are no crowds. I say, sorry. I say this because if you go shopping during Hari Raya or Chinese New Year or Deepavali, there will be a lot of people. But if you shop online, that will not be a problem. What do you think? Oh, speaker 2, I completely agree with you. As you said, some people shop online because they don't like crowds. I think time saving is also a reason why people shop online. My reason for saying this is because some people are very busy with work and they don't have time to go shopping. Don't you agree with me? I was just thinking that. I agree that time saving is why people shop online. But if you ask me, people also shop online because they can get better prices, because there are many sales online. Do you have anything to add? See? Boys and girls, do you think it's difficult? Actually, when it's your turn, bukannya banyak sangat that you need to fikir. Okay, siapa cakap ni? My idea is not coming when I want to speak in English. Asma Husna kata. Asma Husna, remember, if you follow Sora strategy, kalau ikut Sora teknik ni, let's look, okay, at this sample answer, okay, sample discussion by speaker number 1. I feel people like to shop online because there are no crowds. This part, when you want to do when you want to give opinion, you just take it from the question. Take it from the mind map, isn't it? You don't have to construct your own ideas. Tak. I say this because, okay, now when you want to give reason, this is the tricky part. Only when you want to give reason, you have to think of the idea yourself. What do you think? Okay, what do you think? Just to ask for your partner's opinion. Is that hard to do? No. Now let's look at speaker number 2. I completely agree with you. As you said, okay, speaker number 2 want to do step S. Say again and agree with partner's opinion. Some people shop online because they don't like crowds. Is it difficult to say again, to repeat again? Remember, when you want to say again and repeat your partner's opinion, you don't have to focus on the reason. Apa reason dia kata? Tak perlu. You just repeat the opinion. And the opinion is taken from the mind map. That is why I said only the reason part, when you want to give reason, that is the only part where you have to think of the idea on your own. When you want to do step S, it is taken from the mind map. When you want to do step O, also taken from the mind map. Step R, think of the idea on your own. Step A, takkan I nak cakap kat you. Step A apa? Very easy, isn't it? Okay? So here, basically, tak banyak pun. And you see, by doing this, okay, you can see that speaker 1 ada equal opportunity as speaker 2. Both speakers basically talk, more or less the same length. Okay, probably around 20 seconds or 30 seconds saja. So you are able to have that discussion back and forth, the bouncing of ideas. Dia bagi idea, kamu respon. Kamu bagi idea, dia respon. That bouncing of ideas too will demonstrate, will make it appear, you will be able to show to the assessor and interlocutor that you and your partner are having a discussion. Alright? Any question? Please type in the chat box. I really hope that by the end of tonight's session, you will be able to really comprehend and grasp this strategy. Now, moving on. We still have another part, okay, where you have to make a decision together. Remember? Okay, so your teacher are going to say something like this. Now, you have about a minute to decide together which is the most popular reason people shop online. You cannot here, you must show to the assessor and the interlocutor that you and your partner, both of you, are discussing to ensure that at the end of the discussion, you are able to come to an agreement. Di akhir perbincangan, you boleh membuat satu keputusan. Okay? Some of my students, they'll be like, and then they say, teacher, we choose this one. To them, they are already making a decision. They bisik to their partner and then they say, teacher, we choose this one. No, that is not a discussion, okay? So how do you carry out discussion in order to make a decision? You do not have to talk about all the prompts, okay? There are 6 points, isn't it? Choose only one and then apply Sora-Sora 2.0. Now, what is Sora-Sora 2.0? Sora-Sora 2.1 is for speaker 1. Okay, speaker 1, suggest your choice. Cadangkan pilihan you and then give your opinion, give your reason and ask for your partner's opinion. Sora 2.2, say again your partner's choice and agree with your partner's choice. Step S, give your opinion O, give reason to justify your opinion R and agree again as a conclusion. You have to agree again as a conclusion. I think in Bahasa Melayu, cikgu you mesti ajar you ni, ayat penegasan. Okay. So we want to make sure that you establish again to your, reinstate to your assessor and interlocutor that you and your partner have come to an agreement. Barulah senang pemeriksa nak bagi markah kau. Oh, murid ini berjaya melaksanakan tugas ini, berjaya melaksanakan tugas ini. Fulfill this task, all tasks fulfill. Okay. Next. So here we have 6 points. You don't have to choose all. Choose the one that you are very comfortable to discuss. Okay. So these are some of the ways. You can just screenshot, right? So these are some of the ways for you to show that you agree with your partner. Contohnya, Contohnya, when you want to suggest your choice, why don't we choose this one? Apa kata kita pilih ni? Why don't we choose this one? Kenley, what do you think we should decide on? Okay, ask for your partner. You see, speaker one, you have already have in your idea, okay, you have in your mind which one you want to choose, but you just pretend, berlakon saja tanya, kita nak pilih yang mana? Why do we choose this one? What do you think we should decide on? Tanya je kawan you, lakon, okay? And then the same thing, give opinion, give reason, ask for your partner's opinion. And then speaker number 2, say again your partner's choice. Wow, Fauzan, I think that's a good idea. As you said, okay, repeat, and then give your opinion. For me, personally, I feel, and then give reason to justify your opinion. I say this because I think this is the case because my reason for saying this is that, and then agree again as a conclusion. Well, Fauzan, I guess we both agree with your partner. Okay, now this is a sample discussion of Sora 2.0 where you make a decision. Okay, so speaker number one, Kenley, why don't we choose this one? Okay, so can you be like, not really sure, I want to agree or not. Well, I think people shop online because online shops give better prices. I see this because, can buy straight from the factory without any middleman. What do you think? Kenley? Well, I totally agree with you, Fauzan. As you said, people like to shop online because it gives better prices. Besides, for me, I think because there are so many online stores, all of the online stores are trying to give the best prices to customer. You ulang balik aja your idea actually. I say this because they offer many rewards, vouchers, and discounts to attract customers with attractive prices. Well, Fauzan, I'm glad we can agree that people shop online because it gives them better prices. There. Okay? Any question? Can you see how to apply Sora 2.0 when you want to make a decision? Okay, please type in the chat box, right? So that I can get feedback from you. Okay, and then we have come to the final part of part 3, the further discussion task. So in this part of the test, you won't have any materials to refer to. Okay, your teacher will just ask you this question. So you've been talking about why people shop online. Now let's hear your opinion on this. In what ways does advertising on social media influence people's buying behavior? Boys and girls, remember, now you are reading this question because I put it in my slide lah. But during the test, this whole thing will be said to you, okay, will be asked to you orally. You tak boleh refer or read it anywhere. Cikgu akan tanya you secara lisan. So imagine, close your eyes, if I say, in what ways does advertising on social media influence people's buying behavior? Oh my God! Advertising influence buying behavior. So many words here that are so confusing. So what are you going to do if you don't understand the question? If you think that the question is too hard, are you going to, I don't understand. What? Don't do that. Okay. My rule of thumb is never show to your interlocutor and assessor that you don't know something. Jangan tunjuk yang you tak tahu. Kalaupun you tak tahu, senyum. Excuse me, teacher. Can you please repeat the question, please? Okay. Suruh cikgu you ulang. Sebab apa? Bila cikgu you ulang soalan, you will have the time to think. Okay, you ada masa untuk bertenang, tarik nafas and think. So your teacher will going to say again, okay, so you've been talking about why people shop online. Now let's hear your opinion on this. In what ways does advertising on social media influence people's buying behavior? Oh my God. Second time teacher repeat, I still cannot understand. What are you going to do? Are you going to cry? Jangan nangis. Still keep on smiling. But if you have already asked the teacher to repeat, don't ask the teacher to repeat the third time. Oh, don't ask the teacher to say it the third time. Okay? Twice is enough. So, you're going to buy time. Okay? Avoid silence. Jangan senyap. Buy time. Buy time for what? For you to think. So, this is how you're going to respond. So, well, I've never really thought about that. But that's a good question. In fact, I think that's an interesting question. Don't you think, Kenley? Yes. Well, let me think. Okay. Well, I'm not an expert. I might be wrong. But I think if you ask me, okay, and then you give your answer. Kalau I will just look, okay, use any points from the mind map as my answer. So my response will be something like this lah. So, well, I never really thought about that, honestly. But I think that's a good question. And that's a very interesting one. Let me think. Well, I think if you ask me, I would say bad prices. Thank you. Dah. End it. Kalau you tak tahu, jangan nak lagi nak jawab. As long as you respond something, you say something, you bagi jawapan you, walaupun your jawapan is just better prices, but this whole thing is just you trying to buy time, still you're responding in English and you're responding appropriately. That is how native speakers respond when they don't understand something, when they don't know what to say. That is what they do. Okay, we call it formulaic expression and fillers. Okay, so you use fillers, you use formulaic expression in order for you to buy time. Okay, so even though you feel you don't know what to respond, okay, you still have something to say. I never really thought about that. That's a good question. I'm not an expert. Things like that. Okay, so these are some of the ways on how, on what you can do when you want to answer part 3 of your discussion. Okay, moving on. Let's look at. All right. Assessment scale, band score 3. Okay, can communicate with reasonable accuracy. Okay, can show a good degree of control of simple grammatical structures and can attempt some complex grammatical structures. If you try and apply all of these useful phrases from Sora, that is already you attempting some complex grammatical structures. There. Can form longer sentences and link them together with basic passive devices. If you use the phrases, the steps in Sora, that already shows that you can form longer sentences because your sentence will be long if you use useful phrases, isn't it? Betul tak? Okay? And link them together using basic passive devices. That you can get 3. Okay? Now, to score band 3 for a vocabulary, okay, you must be able to show a range of appropriate vocabulary to talk about everyday situations and familiar topics. You can convey relevant meaning but may have errors in vocabulary choice. So it's not that hard for you to score band 3. Okay? Here, if you look here, may have errors in vocabulary choice. So even though you make mistakes in your choice of word, but it's okay, you can still score band 3. So can you imagine if, let's say, you go through the vocabulary practice for every single chapter of your textbook, kan ada muka surat yang vocabulary practice kan? So do you think you can improve your vocabulary there? Will you be able to use appropriate vocabulary? Do you think if making errors is band 3, do you think you can score band 4 if you do practice starting from now? Okay, and then let's look at communicative competence. Okay, we'll talk about communicative competence. You can express, okay, candidate can express him or herself clearly, though there is some hesitation. Okay, can initiate, maintain, initiate, memulakan sesuatu. Okay, start discussion. There you start discussion already. Can maintain. If you use sora-sora, you talk, your friends talk, you talk, your friends talk. Develop, okay, you contribute to your partner's point of view. Close the conversation. I'm glad can both agree that with little difficulty. Look here, for band score 3 with little difficulty. Can you imagine? Okay, can you imagine that if, let's say, you practice starting from now, do you think you will have that difficulty? Okay, can ask for clarification and further details in order to move a discussion forward. So asking your partner's opinion, okay, is already part of what we want to see for band score 3. All right. So all of the elements in Sora Sora is actually helping you to score higher band for your speaking test. So I guess that's it from me. Thank you very much, everyone. Do you have any question? You can type in the chat box. So I really hope that you learned something from tonight's session, and our sharing tonight will give you some insight to help you prepare for your speaking test. Remember, your speaking test will be somewhere in February. So you have more than enough time, ample time to practice every day with your partner. Okay, talk in front of the mirror so that you can build that confidence. Okay, so I guess that's it from me. Anything you want to add, Madam Zahara, before we end our session today?
No, we are running out of time. So thank you, Teacher Aiman, for sharing, for the great sharing. And thank you all students for staying with us tonight. Please, at least, practice whatever Teacher Aiman has shared because it will be helpful for you. And yes, till we see again.
All the best. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Take care. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.